What's good, guys? Fancy Joe back here with my Week 5 running back rankings. If you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that like button. And if you have any start-sit questions, leave them in the comment section down below. Any other questions, I'll answer as well. We're going to be hopping into these running back rankings. Okay, at 1, I've got Dalvin Cook this week heading up against the Detroit Lions. Think he's going to have an absolute fantastic day for fantasy. Stay in those flames with Dalvin Cook. Obviously, you're not benching him coming off the bad week, but I think he's in due for a monster week this week against Detroit. Another thing I want to point out before we get too far, if Christian McCaffrey plays, I'd slide him right at that 3 spot where Alvin Kamara currently lies, but don't know if he's going to suit up or not. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Derrick Henry against Jacksonville Jaguars. Think he's going to have a monster game against the Jags. He usually does. Expect him to get a monster workload. We don't know if A.J. Brown or Julio Jones is going to play. I expect them both to, though, but nothing certain there. So fire up Derrick Henry for sure. Alvin Kamara against the Washington football team. Got a ton of volume on the ground last week. Not so much through the air, 0 targets, but I think he will. I think that's going to get sorted out. At 4, we got Ezekiel against the New York Giants. Fire up Zeke. He is a stud back. There's no reason to be concerned about him moving forward. Aaron Jones at 5. Aaron Jones didn't have a great game last week, fumbled, but I think against Cincinnati, he's a top 5 play this week. At 6, I got Saquon Barclay. Looked fantastic last week. Is getting a ton of target volume. That's what you want to see in your fantasy running backs. Dallas is not an easy defense at this point, but I think Saquon is going to get enough volume that he is going to be good for fantasy, especially if he keeps getting so much volume through the air. At 7, we've got Austin Eckler against Cleveland. Eckler, another guy who's getting a ton of targets. Fantastic for fantasy. Fire up Austin Eckler in every format you can. Naji Harris at 8 against Denver. Tough matchup for Naji Harris, but he's getting so much volume at this point. His snap counts are just through the roof. You're playing Naji Harris as a top 10 at back every single week. Nick Chubb against the Chargers. I think he's going to have a good game this week. I think that Chargers defense, they play that too high safety look a lot, or play nickel, trying to almost daring you to run the ball. The Browns will have no problem doing that if the Chargers don't adjust, and they will just pound the rock with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt all game. At 10, I got DeAndre Swift against Minnesota. Coming off a bad game, but Minnesota's defense has not been great this year. I am firing up Swift for sure. He'd be a guy to try to trade low for. At 11, we have Daryl Henderson against Seattle on Thursday night. I think this is going to be a good matchup with our next back, Chris Carson, playing both of these backs. Daryl Henderson's been playing a ton of snaps for the Rams. He was utilizing the passing game last week, even when they got blown out. If he can have games like that where they lose by that many points, I think you're going to be very happy with Daryl Henderson season long. Chris Carson has a neck injury. He might not suit up. Keep an eye on that situation. But if he does, he's going into your lineups for sure. James Robinson against Tennessee. I don't know if Carlos Hyde is going to play this week, but either way, I'm playing James Robinson. I feel like he's the only one who's done anything for them offensively, really. They're going to keep rolling him out there and giving him touches like we've seen the last 2 weeks because he's been successful with them. Chase Edmonds at 14, a guy who's getting close to double-digit points every week, or is getting double-digit points every week, I believe. And then he is getting double-digit carries, being utilized in the passing game. Chase Edmonds is a good quality RB2 to have. At 15, I have Josh Jacobs against Chicago. Was used a ton last week. The game script wasn't great for him, but he was the back out there. 16, Joe Mixon against Green Bay. I do think Mixon's going to play this week. If he doesn't, you can fire up Samaje Perine against a uninspiring Green Bay Packers run defense. They don't scare me from playing Samaje Perine against them as an RB2 play. Damian Williams against Las Vegas this week. I think that is a definite play if you got him off waivers. I think he's going to have a good game against that Vegas defense. Jonathan Taylor, tough matchup with Baltimore, has not been great. So thus far, had a good game against Miami, but that's an easy matchup. If he has a good game here, I think he'll be very encouraged by Jonathan Taylor. I'm a little concerned about him, though, with Quentin Nelson out. At 19, I've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I like Clyde still a lot, but this Buffalo defense is not what you want to be playing against right now. And I think that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to throw a lot. Hopefully, Clyde gets some more usage out of the backfield. At 20, we got Leonard Fournette against Miami. This one's a bit of a shot, but I just think he's going to get the work. He got a ton of work last week against the Patriots. Miami's not a good run defense. I could see him having a very good game. Antonio Gibson's next up against New Orleans. He would be higher if he was getting more passing volume and if New Orleans' defense wasn't so good. I still have faith in Gibson, but he's outside my top 20 just barely this week. 22, I've got Cordarrelle Patterson against the Jets. He's having about a monster stretch of games, including that 3-touchdown game last week. You're still rolling him out there every week. Kareem Hunt against the Chargers. Similar reason to Nick Chubb. I think that Chargers run defense is nothing to be feared. They kind of give you the run, and he's been used on the goal line a lot, which is encouraging for all Kareem Hunt owners and a stab in the back for all Nick Chubb owners out there. Latavius Murray is a guy in Baltimore now. There's no confusing it. I have him against Indianapolis at 25. I think he's just quality play every week now. Great chance at a touchdown upside in that offense. James Conner, speaking of touchdowns, scored 2 touchdowns each of the last 2 weeks. I think he's a great play. He's a goal line back for a great offense against San Francisco. I think you can play him in your flex in your RB2 spot and be happy with him. Michael Carter at number 27, got a good matchup with Atlanta. He's been being utilized lately. I think this is one of the matchups you can roll him out there in an RB2 or flex spot. And next up, we got Mike Davis against the Jets. He hasn't done anything spectacular this year, but he is playing the Jets. If he's going to have a good game, I think it would be now. Zach Moss has been very good for fantasy the last several weeks. That Kansas City matchup, I'm not afraid of. I think that Buffalo is going to give them a game. Brandon Bolden, my last player against Houston, he's inherited that James White role in New England. I think he had 6 receptions last week. I expect him to continue to be utilized in this fashion. I think he was a different waiver wire add. He might still be out there in some of your leagues, so add Brandon Bolden. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you have any start sits, let them know in the comments down below. I'll let you guys know what I would do. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Fantasy Joe. See you guys next time.